Hello everyone, we are back once again. It's Thursday, February 9th. I'm Tim. We come here twice a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays. We missed Tuesday. I know I wasn't here Tuesday. Had a technical issue, didn't get worked out in time. But we do come here every Tuesday and Thursday and talk about golf cart related issues. Try to help people out, try to save people money, see if I can help them steer them in the right direction. Sometimes I can, sometimes I can't. I mean, you can't win them all, but I might have seen your issue before. If you have any type of golf cart related issue, anybody in the live chat, feel free to ask a question. Anybody watching, we're live right now on Facebook and YouTube. Let's see, and if you have another social media platform you like, I'm running the links right now to all the social media platforms you can follow us on. You can follow us everywhere. We're all over the place now. So feel free to do that. If you like this content, feel free to like and subscribe. Then you'll get notified every time before we go live. And if you have a question you want it, if you can't, you can schedule a call with me through the Gearheads On Demand service that we have. But my schedule is kind of booked up on that. So if you try to schedule a call and you don't find a time slot, come here on either Tuesday or Thursday. Come here Tuesday and Thursday and catch me live. I go live every Tuesday, Thursday at 12 noon Central Time. So maybe you can get your question in that way. All right, let's see here. Let's go ahead and get started with the questions. Question number one. I have a 2010 TXT gas. It is sputtering at start / acceleration. Would you suggest a carb replacement or limit switch? Well, anytime I would have a cart like that, a gas cart in my shop, I always break it down into things that are obvious first. I mean, I'd always do the obvious stuff first, the easy stuff. Look around, see if you've got any leaking fuel. That would be something easy to do. Check your carburetor, around your carburetor. Make sure you don't have any leaking fuel or something, because you could have a needle in a seat that's stuck or something like that, you know, involved in the carburetor. But most likely that would cause gas to be leaking out. So check for that. That's one thing easy you could, you know, check out. Spark plugs. Spark plugs are easy. You know, change the spark plug. You know, see if you can find any difference. See if there's any difference in the way that it runs by changing the spark plug. If you don't notice any difference, you're not out a lot of money by changing the spark plug. In fact, you could have some known good plugs, you know, in your toolbox that you just stuck in there real quick just to see, and you could take them back out if it wasn't them, if you wanted to. Carburetor cleaner. You could spray carburetor cleaner into the carburetor while the car is running, and then run that and see, you know, run that through the carburetor a little bit. See if you can clean out some passages that might be stuck. See if that makes any difference whatsoever. If it does make a difference, you know, then you know you might be on to the exact area where the problem is. You might either need a carburetor replacement, or you might just need to remove that one and give it a really good clean. So anyway, my point is that I would try some of the easy stuff first to eliminate what it is not, what the problem is not. Okay, number two. 2014 EZGO TXT, main solenoid not working. Can't get the solenoid to energize. Have checked the charge port and switch on the dash. When hooked up, solenoid has 50 volts on all 4 terminals. I've had 3 different ITS sensors on it, and they're all doing the same thing. You shouldn't have 50 volts on all 4 terminals. I'm not sure what you meant by that. I would have to ask some questions about that. In fact, you're only supposed to have 50 volts on the 2 small terminals when the key is on and you touch the accelerator pedal. That's the only time you're supposed to have 50 volts on those small terminals. That's the energizing circuit to energize the solenoid. If you don't have 50 volts on those, then the solenoid is not going to click. It's not going to turn on. If you do have 50 volts on the 2 small terminals, like one lead on one small terminal, the other lead of your voltmeter on the other small terminal, and you see 50 volts there, then your solenoid is already energized. It's already energized. So that's why I'm confused on what you mean by 50 volts on all 4 terminals. But anyway, the activation circuit for your car, you said you replaced the ITS. You've tried different ITSs. Did you test that micro switch that's in there with the ITS, would be my question also. That's involved in the activation circuit, which could cause the solenoid to either not activate or cause the solenoid to be always activated. That micro switch could go out in one of 2 ways. It could go out in the on position, or open position, or closed position. So I would be looking at that micro, and if it's not that, could be your controller, because your controller is in that circuit also to energize the solenoid. Let me see here. Number 3. How does the accelerator pedal micro switch work in an EZGO golf cart? I have an old EZGO golf cart, not a new one, and it does not have a controller unit. Okay, if it's an old one, do you mean you have the old resistor type? Well, the row of resistors, if you have that row of resistors, that's actually the controller. In your car, that's the controller. A modern day controller is just a box. It's just a computerized box. But the old-timey ones, the older ones, that row of resistors is actually called the controller. That's the speed controller. What happens is, when you touch the accelerator pedal, your accelerator pedal activates a micro switch, which boom, clicks the solenoid, and then your speed is regulated through those coil resistors. I believe that's what you're asking there. Number 4. I've got a 2000 EZGO TXT. It has a problem when you step on the pedal to go. It will go for a few feet, then shut down like someone hit the brakes. You can let up off the accelerator pedal and repeat it, and it will go for another few feet before the same thing happens. I've watched a few YouTube videos, and from what I'm seeing is my problem could be in the throttle sensor. Some of the YouTube videos were saying speed sensor. Can you clear this one up for me? Well, your car has what is called an inductive throttle sensor. All right. Now, I have seen those develop a small crack in them. They're in a container that's got a lid on it under the floor mat. It's not a waterproof container. Okay. There's a hole in the bottom of it, which I don't know why they didn't make it a waterproof container. Seems like they could have, but they did not. It's not a waterproof container. It's very, very water resistant, but it's not waterproof. And when those ITSs are inductive throttle sensor, when they develop a crack, water or moisture can get inside that crack, and it can cause a lot of weird things. And that is the device that's sending the signal to your controller to tell it what to do. So it could be the inductive throttle sensor. Now, about the speed sensor, it's not the same thing. Inductive throttle sensor is not the same thing as the speed sensor. The speed sensor is on the end of your golf cart motor, on the end of your electric motor. There'll be some wires coming out, usually to a plug, and you can just unplug it, and then the speed sensor is the device that's mounted to the end of the motor. It's basically just a magnet, but it is it's a speed magnet is what it is. And so you can replace that speed sensor. Now, I've talked about the symptoms of a bad speed sensor a few times in some of these episodes. One of the symptoms is very similar to what you're describing. A inductive throttle sensor, the symptoms are very similar to what you're describing also. So my guess is I would be looking at one of those 2 things. In fact, that's what you said, that you've seen videos that point to either one. But the good news is that neither one of them is real expensive, so you could take a chance there. Or I tell you what you can do: an easy speed sensor test with your run toe switch and run, your key on, cart and forward on level ground. Get off of your cart and go to the back and push it. See if you can roll your cart by pushing it. It should hold you back. It should electronically brake, and usually the beeper will go off. If you push it in at freewheels, you could have a speed sensor fault. I've seen that's a lot of bad speed sensors that you'll be able to do that, because if you had a good working speed sensor, you can't freewheel by pushing the cart. It'll start electronically braking and hold you back. You'll feel resistance. Okay. All right. Number where we're at. I was wondering, before I install the Trojan batteries in the golf cart, can I put each individual battery on a trickle charger and make sure they are all charged up before I install them? I'm sure you can if you want to do that. If you have, depending on what Trojan batteries you got, you know, it's going to be a 6-volt battery. You're going to need a 6-volt charger if it's a 6-volt battery. Or you could, if it's 6-volt batteries, you could put 2 of those 6-volt batteries in series and charge both 2 at a time with a 12-volt charger. If you have an 8-volt battery, you're going to have to find an 8-volt charger in order to do this correctly. I mean, I wouldn't want you to put a 12-volt on those 8 volts because they're brand new. Now, in a bind, you can do that, but I wouldn't recommend it on brand new Trojans. No, I wouldn't do that. If you got 12-volt Trojans, then again, just use a 12-volt charger and you can charge those up individually. Now, is that necessary? Would be the question that I would ask. And I can tell you that it is not necessary. I mean, you can do that if you want to. If you feel better about it by doing that, but it's not 100% necessary. Put your batteries in and then fully charge your cart before you use it with your normal charger would be all that is really required. If you want to really check it out, fully charge your cart and then check voltages on your batteries that you just installed. Like when your charger starts getting close to the end of the charge cycle, check the voltages on all of your new batteries and make sure that they're relatively close, within like 1/10 of a volt or something of each other, and then you'll be perfectly fine. Because after several charge cycles with your regular charger, they should even out pretty even. So, but if you want to charge them, you can. It's not going to hurt a thing. Number 6. How many miles should I be able to travel in a Yamaha golf cart with a Roy Pow lithium battery, 1 person and golf clubs? We don't sell Roy Pow, but I'm sure that it's probably going to be listed on every Roy Pow advertisement out there, because lithium, that's one of the ways that they market their batteries. It's they tell you the range that you can expect. Well, the range is going to be dependent on the amp hour that your Roy Pow battery pack is. The higher the amp hour, the more range you're going to have. Amp hour is directly related to the amount of distance you can travel in your golf cart before it needs to be recharged. Most lithium companies offer different setups. They offer a lower amp hour for just if you just needed to play 18 to 36 holes of golf. They offer a lower amp hour battery pack, or they offer a larger one if you needed to drive 50 miles or so. Normal lead acid pack, you should be able to get, just with a brand new set of Trojans lead acid pack, you should be able to get anywhere between 20 to 30 miles. You know, that's quite a bit with the lead acid pack. Now, lithium usually offers a setup that would even double that. So that's, 40 to 60 miles, that you could probably get with a higher amp hour lithium. So it just depends. But Roy Pow should be able to answer that question, depending on which pack you have, which amp hour pack you get. Let me see. Anybody in the live chat, feel free to say, "What's up, Tim? Tell me where you're from." Number 6. No, I'm on number 7. First concern, as of January 29th, new batteries, 4 12 volts for my 94 club car. Summit 2, no LED function lights when dual spade terminal plugged into the receptacle, only the blue light indicating AC present light comes on. Let's see. Second concern, cart jolts on every acceleration after getting off the accelerator. All right, let's see. You said 94. Okay. Is your 94, it's a 48 volt 94? Okay, so that's what you're saying. I mean, 94 could be either one, is why I'm asking. It could be 36 or 48 volts. So I'm going to assume that you do have a 48 volt 94 model. did this just start, or have you not been able to get your Summit 2 to come on at all? Well, the Summit 2, you know, is capable of Bluetoothing to your phone. It has an app. All right. I always recommend people go through the app, even if their Summit 2 is supposed to come for their battery pack. You go through that app and you can pick your battery pack. You can pick exactly which battery pack you're plugging into. I would want to make sure that all of that is correct before I even answered your question, because it may be set for something that it's not recognizing, or because if it's sensing voltage, ever how you've got it, you either have it wired directly to the batteries or you've got it plugged in. So if it's sensing voltage, then everything should be fine. But I would want to go through the Bluetooth app and go through the setup settings and make sure that everything in there is correct. Let's see, we got William Rizzo. What's up, William Rizzo on YouTube? Hello, Tim from Marathon in the Florida Keys. Good to have you, man. Appreciate you being here, William. Tommy Ramsher. What's up, Tim? New Hebron, Mississippi. Cool. What's up, Tommy? Glad to have you here. Ricky Smith. What's up, Ricky? Hi, Tim. Let us know when we can buy some swag. I've been bringing it up. I have been bringing it up. They are completely aware. But I appreciate you bringing it up. Let's see. Carlos Alvarez. What's up, Carlos? On Facebook. Instead of buying 6 Trojan batteries from a 36-volt EZGO, can I buy 3 12-volt batteries and save money? Will it run the same distance? That is a good question. That is a common question I get all the time, believe it or not. And the answer is that if you're asking me, will it work? The answer is yes, it will work. But the question about distance, it is not going to run the same distance because you're carrying around less lead. 3 12-volt batteries, unless the 12-volt batteries you put in there were huge, it's going to be less lead than the 6 6-volt batteries. The amount of lead that you're carrying around is directly related to the distance. Just like what we were talking about with lithium earlier, the amp hour rating is directly related with lithium, with the distance in lithium batteries. Well, in lead acid batteries, the amount of lead that you're carrying is directly related to the distance your golf cart will travel. So if you want to do 312s just for testing purposes, also 312s is not going to last as long in longevity as the 6 6s. That's been proven also. People have tried this for years. People have been doing that modification for years to save money. And it does save money in the short term, but you end up having to buy 3 more sooner than if you would have had 6 6s. I hope that answers your question, Carlos. Kurt Bauer. What's up, Kurt? Hey, Tim, here in Bradenton, Florida. Missed you Tuesday. Thought something was wrong with my phone. No, we had a technical issue, man. I'm not the only person that's involved in putting this show on. There's several components behind the scene that hardly anybody's aware of. And one of the components had a technical issue, so made it kind of late, so we didn't come on Tuesday. But we're back on track now, man. Let's see. Where are we at here? That was, I'm on number 8. That's where I'm at. I have 98 DS. The cart was running fine until the batteries were stolen. Imagine that we live in a world where someone will steal the batteries out of your golf cart. That is crazy. We replaced it with new batteries, and now the cable that goes from the FNR switch to the motor is overheating, like burning hot at the FNR connection. We replaced the FNR, that's the forward and reverse, as we thought the dummies that stole the batteries may have hit the FNR assembly, getting the batteries hot and caused damage. I know resistance causes heat, so we have checked every single connection on the cart, made sure all cables are tight and secure, including the motor. Any ideas? Well, I think you're going to be onto something that obviously they were in a hurry. Even though when they stole the batteries, they very easily could have hit that FNR switch when removing one of those batteries. They could have easily damaged that. They could have easily damaged a lot of things in the car. But I can tell you this: when you turn the key on, like your car's in forward, okay, this is the only thing I want to make sure. Your car's in forward, turn the key on, make sure that solenoid does not click when you turn the key on, all right? Because if it does, then they did damage something in the car. It's not supposed to turn, the solenoid is not supposed to click with just the turn of the key. It's not supposed to click until you touch the accelerator pedal. So as long as the solenoid is working properly, then just replace that one cable that's getting hot. There's something wrong with that cable. They either bent something or it's got some corrosion in it. It could be a totally unrelated issue that you just didn't notice before. So I would just replace that one cable that's getting hot, the one that's going to the motor. Let's see. Number 9. Let me check Facebook. Carlos says, thank you, you answered my question. You're welcome, Carlos, on Facebook. Number 9. My 36 volt Powerwise charger doesn't cut off at 43 volts. I'm scared to let it charge any longer. Don't want to burn the batteries up. I've never let it go further. I just unplug it. So should I keep doing that? No, don't keep doing that. I don't know why you were under the impression that it would shut off, or it was supposed to shut off at 43 volts. It's not. It's not supposed to shut off at 43 volts. It could, in fact, it could charge on a 36 volt car. It could be up to 46 volts before it shuts off. So let it do its thing, unless you've tried that charger on another car and it never shut off. I mean, it should, should be, the longest it should charge would be about up to 16 hours. But check the voltage toward the end, and you should be up to about 46 before it shuts off. So I suspect that everything is fine with it. You just haven't let it run. You haven't let it run long enough yet. Let's see, Greg Elliott in YouTube. What's up, Greg Elliott? Got in here late today. Tim, try not to miss an episode. Oh man, appreciate it. I appreciate it, Greg. Love the content. Pray it continues. By the way, located in Bristol, Virginia. Most accurate and helpful site anywhere. Thanks for all you do for us dummies. Well, I appreciate you, Greg. I thank you for telling me that. Thank you for saying that. That's all we do. And we talk golf cars. I can't believe that I get paid to talk about golf cars. I mean, I've been fixing and selling golf cars for years, and now all I do is I talk about them. And so it's pretty cool. But I appreciate you being here. Thank you, Greg, for the kind words. Let's see. Where am I at? Number 9 or number 10? I'm on number 10. This was the last regular question. This is from Mark. I have a 48 volt 2015 TXT. I recently attempted to upgrade the controller by installing the Navitas 440. Okay. Everything appeared to install correctly and the cart ran as expected, but immediately following the install, I noticed that my cart no longer charged. When I put in the charging receptacle, the green light does not light up, and my QQ charger throws a default code of battery low voltage. Well, I can tell you this, your circuit that you were involved with for changing the controller has nothing to do with your charge circuit. So you got another issue. Did you forget to, did you remove a wire maybe and forget it? I mean, check your wires coming out of your charging receptacle, the wires that are coming out of the back side of your charging receptacle. Follow those and make sure that you didn't disconnect one of those off of the battery. You should have one wire that goes to the positive side of your battery pack, and one of those should go to the negative side. So make sure you didn't miss a wire there, because it shouldn't have anything to do, what you did by changing the controller shouldn't have anything to do with the charge circuit that allows your charger to come on. So I'd double check that stuff if I was you. Let's see, remember to follow us on any of these links for social media. If you like to follow it on something else besides Facebook and YouTube, you can follow us anywhere you'd like. If you do like to follow us on Facebook and YouTube. Please like and subscribe, of course. You will get notified if you do that every time before we go live, every time before we start answering questions. Let's see. Also, there is one more day for the coupon code. One more day. Get 5% off any parts you order at golfcartgarage.com if you use code TIM7. This code expires tomorrow, February 10th. So if you still want to take advantage of that code, feel free to. Let's see here. Got Kurt Bauer says, hey Tim, me again. I use my cart about every 10 days and charge it after each use. How often should I check the water level of 2-year-old batteries? Well, I can tell you this, Kurt, what kind of batteries, by the way, because my main experience is going to be with Trojan lead acid batteries, and this is what I used to tell my customers. I would tell them that you're going to think with a brand new set of Trojan lead acid batteries, you're going to think your golf cart never uses any water. If you check it, it's always full. Well, that's because new batteries uses very, very little water. So it is very little in the beginning. So as your batteries get older, you might notice a little bit of an increase in the water usage. In your case, you charge it after each use. How often should I check the water level in 2-year-old batteries? Well, if you're only using your golf cart that much, about every 10 days, and charge it then I wouldn't. There shouldn't be a need for you to check the water any more often than once a month, for sure. It may not even that much. Check it once a month and see what's going on. See if you're ever having to need to add water, and if not, increase that to once every 2 months, because you're not using your golf cart enough to actually make a difference. Okay, I see you say you do have Trojans. Yeah, Trojans are going to use very little water, so don't worry if you find yourself not having to add water. Just make sure that the water is over the lead plates. That's all you need to do. Don't fill them to the top. I know I've said that before, but I can't harp on that enough. Don't fill them to the top. That's only going to cause problems in your garage floor, in your cables, and corrosion. I just can't stand to think about that, filling to the top, because that's just because when you charge it, the water comes out, the acid comes out and spills onto your floor, and it really can mess up your concrete. Now that is what they do at the golf course. You would be amazed at how much of a lack of care that golf cars actually get when they spend the first 3 or 4 years of their life on the golf course under lease. They don't do all the maintenance correctly. Like they just do the least amount they can get by with, and then the cars are gone, and then they get a new fleet in there. Some of the questions that I get, like about charging the batteries before I install, the kind of questions we talked about earlier, you wouldn't believe how golf carts are treated. You're really treating it like a baby there if you're going to do that. Now you can do that, but I can assure you that they don't do that on a golf course, like when they're owned by a golf course. Jen Slinger, what's up, Jen Slinger? That's my friend John. Good day again, Tim. Quick shout out from the tax lady shop. Just wanted to say swag. Yeah, everybody, I tell you what, everybody put swag in the chat. Everybody watching, put the word swag in the chat. Oh, Kirk says he's got got an auto fill set up. Yeah, Kirk, if you already have that set up and you're used to it, that's fine. That is fine. But I never did recommend that setup, and I'll tell you why. There's nothing wrong with it. I never did recommend that setup because there's a lot of moving parts involved in that setup. There's moving parts. There's tubes, and then there's floats inside those caps that close off. There's a lot of things that can go wrong and cause there's a lot of places that it could malfunction and cause you to overfill your batteries, which that's like one of my pet peeves is don't overfill your batteries. Just cover the plates with water, and then that's enough. So if you're cool with your autofill setup and you've never overfilled your batteries, then go ahead and keep using it. But That's one thing that you could think about, is going back to the caps and doing it manually rather than that. It's a little bit safer in my opinion. That's my opinion based on what I've seen in my golf cart shopping experience. Let's see here. Got Tommy and William put swag in the chat. Let's see, that was it for my regular stuff, wasn't it? Okay, well, let's get to the tip, this week's tip, before we get out of here. Let's see. Oh, I probably have already said it in this episode. It's similar to the charging the batteries before install. This week's tip is this. Anytime you do decide to do your own battery job, and you go ahead and you do the battery job and everything's finished, only test drive your cart a little bit just to make sure everything is working. Just test drive it. Don't take it out for a full round of golf. Always fully charge your batteries after the install. You fully charge your batteries after the install, and then you'll be good to go. Then you can go take it out. 𝗏𝐹83 and YouTube. What's up, 𝗏𝐹83? Swag. I got you. I hear you. And the other people hear you too, because they're watching also. So that's a good thing. All right. That looks like it's going to be it for me on this Thursday, February 9th. I will see everybody. I will see y'all on Tuesday, because we're going to be back on the Tuesday, Thursday schedule from now on. If you would like to follow us, then you'll get notified, and you don't even have to remember that it's tea on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Also, remember that you can schedule a phone call with me through the Gearheads On Demand service that we offer. You can schedule a phone call where I will call you at a time. If you're interested in that, click the link in the description. That'll take you to the scheduling page. I'm pretty booked up, but like I said, if you try to go there and you try to schedule something and there's no time slot available, then you can also catch me here on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 12 noon Central Time. And if you like I said, if you like and subscribe, then you'll get notified. All right, I'll see everybody later. Thank everybody for being here, by the way, all the people in the chat. See y'all next time. The garage is now closed.